My name is Dale Ward, I'm a comedian and an artist, and I wrote a thesis about how Michael Myers from the Halloween movies is a Zen master. I called it Zen and the Art of Halloween, an analysis of Zen master Michael Myers. This video is chapter 7 of my thesis, and these are some of my Halloween paintings that will be appearing in the background. So let's get into chapter 7, which is titled Halloween Never Dies. My seventh proof of Michael Myers being a Zen master is that he teaches us the nature of existence. The main characteristic of the natural universe that the shape shows us the most is obviously the transience of life. This means that the boogeyman gives us lessons in Anitya, which is arguably the most important of the Buddha's 3 marks of existence. The Sanskrit word Anitya means impermanence, and Michael's main function, killing, repeatedly proves that life is impermanent. In this sense, Michael Myers is the shape of impermanence. Anitya also points out that everything is constantly changing. Therefore, one could argue that the words the universe merely refer to the sum of all change in the same way that the words Michael Myers merely refer to the sum of all evil. Anitya means that nothing in this universe is permanent, not even your pain, and the shape shows you the same thing when he kills you. It should be noted that Anitya, impermanence, is not necessarily painful in and of itself. Instead, Anitya is the reason why attachment is painful. As the Buddha said, quote, "Change is not painful, only resistance to change is painful," end quote. And Zen monk Thich Nhat Hanh reiterated this sentiment when he said, quote, "It is not impermanence that makes us suffer. What makes us suffer is wanting things to be permanent when they are not," end quote. And Michael Myers teaches a similar lesson when he shows you that clinging to your impermanent life is pointless and simply causes unnecessary suffering because you cannot stop the boogeyman any more than you can stop death itself. Trying to stop Michael Myers is like trying to stop the seasons from changing. The leaves on the trees will inevitably fall every autumn, just as the shape will inevitably kill on Halloween, and there's nothing you can do to stop either from happening. Correspondingly, your attachment to the green leaves will not stop them from changing color, falling, and dying in the same way that your attachment to being alive will not stop the boogeyman from choking you until you change color, fall, and die, much like an autumn leaf. Michael Myers hereby emphasizes that life is as fleeting and frail as the fallen leaves under his footsteps on Halloween night. Furthermore, your attachment or avoidance of this fact only results in compounded suffering because the boogeyman inevitably makes life change into death. In this way, change is just as inescapable as death, and therefore Michael Myers is the shape of change. This is not to say that there's no joy or beauty to be found in this changing ephemeral life. In fact, quite the opposite. Both the boogeyman and Anitya can help you realize that existence is precious and profound precisely because it is not permanent. In other words, death makes life beautiful because transience is the root of beauty. In this respect, Michael Myers is the shape of beauty, because you can only temporarily appreciate green leaves and being alive, since every living experience eventually ends at the hands of the boogeyman. Subsequently, this means that you can also temporarily appreciate autumn, when the leaves turn gold and fall all around you like a golden shower. My point is that Michael Myers makes it clear that everything in this universe is temporary, including you. And yet, you are an integral part of this universe. For this reason, one could see existence in such a way where the universe is pretending to be you, for a brief period of time before the boogeyman kills you. Which means that the universe is unconsciously and spontaneously pretending to be all of our individual ego identities while wearing the masks of every human face. In other words, the universe wears you like a mask in the same way that Michael Myers wears his mask. This means that your ego identity, your idea of yourself, is a mask. Therefore, the shape is a metaphorical mirror reflecting the reality that we are all the one wearing the masks of the many. In this regard, Michael Myers is the shape of everyone. To push this metaphor even further, the empty, anonymous mask that the boogeyman wears has the universal potential to be any human face. It could be your face, my face, or even William Shatner's face. Can we just take a second to fully appreciate this face morph I made? It took me hours to make, and I'm very proud of it. Let's take another look. Okay, back to the thesis. This is because Michael's mask is in the shape of a face, but it has no specific identity. Therefore, his mask can be seen as a visual symbol representing the face of the universe. It is a blank, pale, emotionless void of humanity without any unique trademarks of personality or ego, just like the shape's whole existence. In other words, Michael's mask is the face of no one, because Michael Myers is the shape of no one. The sixth founding master of Zen in China, Dajian Huineng, gave the koan, quote, "Without thinking of good or evil, show me your original face before your mother and father were born," end quote. Michael Myers is the answer to this koan because he clearly never thinks of good or evil, and he also shows you the original face with his mask. But he not only wears the original face, he is the original face of evil. The shape can be seen as a part of the universe wearing the mask of a serial killer wearing a mask, literally and metaphorically. Moreover, Michael's mask is a perfect display of the ineffable universe because it is beyond words. As Zen Master Dogen said, quote, "You should stop searching for phrases and chasing after words. Take the backwards step and turn the light inwards. Your body-mind of itself will drop off and your original face will appear." End quote. Was Dogen implying that the blank, pale, emotionless face of the boogeyman will appear? Probably. Michael's mask is horrifying because it is pure, unknown emptiness, and at the same time, it is also another wordless Zen koan for his students, victims, in the form of, what is the face of no face? Myers then shows you the answer to this koan as he silently stares at you through his mask of faceless anonymity. Furthermore, when you see the expressionless facade of the shape, you get a glimpse into true emptiness just before you die, because looking at his mask is seeing the void, Śūnyatā. In other words, you are staring into the abyss as the abyss literally stares back at you, because Michael Myers is the shape of the abyss. The abyss is the absolute unknown, so is the boogeyman. And literally on top of that, the mask that the shape wears is the face of the unknown, which means that Michael Myers makes us face the unknown in many ways, and people fear the unknown. Thus, people fear the boogeyman because Michael Myers is the shape of the unknown. A big part of the reason why the boogeyman terrifies us is because it is unknown who or what he truly is. So we have no idea why he does anything. Because of this, his potential capabilities and limits are also totally unknown. Therefore, much like how he disappeared after being shot 6 times on Halloween night in 1978, Michael Myers could potentially reappear anytime and anywhere to do anything to anyone. Just like the universe. Dr. Loomis obviously knew this because when Sheriff Brackett said, "I still think I should notify the radio and tell them," Loomis cut him off and said, "No. If you do that, they'll see him on every street corner. They'll look for him in every house." Because Michael Myers looks like the shape of anyone. And you can also look like anyone. This is another one of the joys of Halloween. I call it Halloween trans egoism. You can put on a mask, dress up in a costume, and transcend your ego to become anyone or anything for that one special night of the year, just like the universe does on a daily basis. In this way, I see Halloween as an annual symbolic celebration of the fact that the universe dresses up and pretends to be us every single day. Similarly, Michael Myers wears his Halloween mask and coveralls every chance he gets, which I think represents the fact that he is just like the universe because he has gone beyond Halloween trans egoism for just one night. The shape has totally integrated Halloweenism into the very essence of who and what he is at all times. Occasionally, the boogeyman will even wear a different Halloween costume on top of his regular Halloween outfit. For example, on Halloween in 1978, Myers wore a white bedsheet and Bob's glasses so that he looked like the ghost of Bob, which ironically symbolized and mimicked the fact that Michael had recently turned Bob into a ghost. Then the boogeyman totally ghosted Linda as well. And Linda didn't even defend herself.
Cute, Bob, real cute.
She saw the shape in the sheet and totally dismissed the situation because she thought it was Bob.
See anything you like?
Which further proves that Michael Myers could be the shape of anyone. When you see the shape, you aren't looking at anyone in particular because Michael Myers as an ego identity doesn't exist. Therefore, the boogeyman has the potential to be anyone because he is no one. So maybe the reason why you usually never see Michael Myers until it's too late is because it's impossible to see no one. Furthermore, even if you do see him at the last second, you really only see the shape of a person coming from the darkness, because Michael Myers is the shape of a person. All that being said, I must reiterate that everything in this universe is the universe, which means that every shape you see is the shape of the universe. As Zen monk D.T. Suzuki said, quote, "All things are the shape of the universe," end quote. Therefore, it's very clear that Michael Myers is the shape of the universe. The truth is that you can't see the universe, you can only see everything that you see, which is the universe. So the trick and treat is that you are looking at the forest and the trees. Yet you are looking at neither. This is Zen in plain sight. Look past the concept of the forest and past the concept of the trees. Just look. To put it another way, some people can't see the ocean due to all the waves in the way, and some people can't see the waves for the ocean in the way. But a student of the art of Zen steps away from all concepts in order to see the truth of reality that's beyond the concepts of the ocean and the waves. In other words, they simply see what is. And Michael Myers is the shape of what is. Or whatever. The universe is omnipresent, and the boogeyman appears to be omnipresent as well. That is why you can feel him watching you at all times, and you can hear him breathing everywhere you go, because Michael Myers is the shape of everywhere. And perhaps his connection to the unlimited power and timelessness of the universal cosmic consciousness is where Myers gets his apparent immortality from. The universe is forever, and the shape is one with the universe, therefore the boogeyman is potentially eternal as well. As little Tommy Doyle said on Halloween in 1978, "You can't kill the boogeyman!" Which is funny because in one version of the Halloween legend, exactly 40 years after Tommy said that, the boogeyman killed Tommy. Furthermore, Michael's inability to die could also be due to his lack of ego and self-identity, which means that you cannot kill Michael Myers because Michael Myers does not exist. All of this indicates that you can't kill the boogeyman in the same way that you can't kill the universe. Therefore, Michael Myers is the shape of immortality. The Lotus Sutra says that the Buddha's lifespan is immeasurable. Therefore, the Buddha cannot die and is forever teaching the Dharma. And the same could be said of the shape. Thus, maybe Michael Myers is the Buddha in the shape of the boogeyman. Regardless, it's quite clear that Michael Myers is unkillable and unstoppable, just like the universe and the Buddha. Therein lies another great lesson from the shape. He shows you that there's nothing you can do to stop him. Just like there's nothing you can do to get rid of your ego and become enlightened, because you do not exist. That is to say that your ego identity, your idea of yourself, does not exist in physical reality. And how can something that doesn't exist do anything? So maybe the reason why we can't stop the boogeyman is because he is pure reality beyond ego and all illusions, whereas we are completely identified with and totally attached to our illusory egos. The real trick and treat of enlightenment is that you can become enlightened, but you have to get rid of yourself to do it. So in a way, you can never become enlightened, because you doesn't exist. On top of that, when enlightenment comes, the illusion of you will be gone. Which is more proof that enlightenment is just like death, because when you are here, it isn't, and when it's here, you're not. Yeah. So again, there's nothing to worry about, because the real natural you is always enlightened and deathless. Therefore, you are just like Michael Myers and the universe itself, because you can't die. It's only your ego that dies. In other words, the relentless boogeyman teaches you that you cannot solve the problem because you is the problem. That is to say that your ego is the problem. But your ego is an illusion, which means that your whole problem is an illusion and therefore you have no problem. Yet you keep trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. And that is where Zen shows its merit, because Zen is the art of becoming unattached to a non-existent problem. The natural you is already enlightened. You just need to get past your egotistical illusion that you are unenlightened. In this respect, enlightenment is just like waking from a dream. You simply wake up and stop the illusion. Or you seek a Zen master like Michael Myers, who will wake you from your ego dream and help you get rid of your idea of yourself. Although, since most people are content to stay asleep and keep dreaming, the boogeyman will turn the dream into a nightmare that you desperately want to wake from. In other words, the shape motivates you to wake up because Michael Myers is the shape of a nightmare. The boogeyman shows you that there's nothing you can do. And there's nothing to do, because you are the natural universe in the shape of a human. Just like how Michael Myers is the shape of a human. Therefore, you are just like him, because you are not a human being. You are a being human. So just be the being. Be like the boogeyman, because Michael Myers is the shape of being. Once your ego is set aside, you will just simply be your natural self. So don't bother trying to get rid of your ego, just be. There's no way to become enlightened in the same way that there's no way to get here. You just are. Furthermore, you can never be anywhere else or anything else. You just are. This means that you are searching for the place that you are already at. And Zen is the art of how to get here, which is also the art of how to stop looking. I'm trying to point out that your ego is an illusion, and nothing strengthens an illusion more than trying to get rid of it. In this regard, trying to get rid of your ego is actually a very egotistical thing to do, because that is your ego trying to get rid of itself, which makes the problem worse. It's like trying to get rid of your reflection in the mirror. Fighting the mirror won't work because your reflection will always be there as long as you fight it. All you have to do is walk away, or turn off the light and bathe in the empty darkness the way the boogeyman does. Or you can let Zen Master Michael Myers smash the mirror with your face so that you no longer have a reflection, a mirror, an ego, or a face. In this way, he is a great teacher who solves all of your problems for you. But the trick and treat is that both the problem and the solution are in the mirror. So look into your reflection and don't fear your ego, nor your natural self. Don't even fear the boogeyman, because Michael Myers is the shape of the mirror. A mirror is a significant metaphor that is often used in Zen, as Zen Master Takuan Soho said, quote, "Mind is also like a mirror. A mirror reflects the things that come before it. When nothing comes before it, it remains absolutely clear. Just so, if no things are kept in the mind, we call that emptiness. If there are things kept in the mind, its functioning is lost." End quote. About 1900 years before Takuan, Zhuangzi said, quote, "The perfect man employs his mind as a mirror. It grasps nothing, it refuses nothing, it receives but does not keep." End quote. Thus, Michael Myers is the perfect man who will break your mirror and stab you with the sharp shards of your mind, which can wake you up so that you can become free and unattached to your illusory ego reflection in order to see past it. So look into the mirror, see beyond your ego, and gaze at your true shape, because Michael Myers is the shape in the mirror. There's a Zen story where Zen Master Nangaku asked his student Master Baso why he was sitting in meditation. To become a Buddha, Baso replied. Nangaku then picked up a brick and started polishing it. So Baso asked, "Why are you polishing that brick?" "To make a mirror," Nangaku replied. Baso then said, "No amount of polishing a brick can make a mirror." To which Nangaku retorted, "No amount of sitting in meditation can make you a Buddha." Similarly, Master Michael Myers will polish your face with a brick until it's a mirror, so that you can instantaneously see your own inner Buddha nature. Side note, the instantaneousness of Zen has nothing to do with speed and time because it is true spontaneous immediacy where the mind does not stop or get hung up. Unlike Bob. It's the same instantaneousness as when the moon is immediately reflected in every pool of blood that the boogeyman spills on Halloween. Neither the blood nor the moon have any mind for reflection, yet the whole moon is instantly and clearly reflected in even the smallest drop of blood. This is how the shape shows you that you need to be silent and still in order to see the truth in your reflection that you are already a Buddha. Michael Myers makes you be silent and still as you stare at your reflection in a serene pool of your own blood. As Zhuangzi said, quote, "People cannot see their reflection in running water, but only in still water," end quote. This teaches you that one of the reasons why you don't see the truth is because every clear, calm reflection you have is disturbed by your ceaseless ego-based thoughts of running from the boogeyman. In other words, your thoughts get in the way of you seeing your inner Buddha. This is known as a dusty or dirty mirror. All that being said, you should not be attached to the mirror nor its cleanliness, because the boogeyman will cover it in blood. But also, when the fifth founding master of Zen in China, Zen Master Hongren, was looking for a successor, he held a competition for the monks in the monastery to write the best Zen verse. The chief monk wrote, quote, "The mind is like a mirror. Polish it with study or dust will dull the image," end quote. Master Hongren was not satisfied with this verse and instead chose the illiterate cook of the monastery to be the sixth founding master of Zen because his stanza was, quote, "There is no mirror, since all is nothing, where can dust collect?" End quote. The truth is that there is no mirror, just as there is no Michael Myers. The shape is a reflection of nothing. This is Śūnyatā, the void. Michael Myers is the shape beyond the mirror. Zen Master Dogen said, quote, "The universe is the face of the ancient mirror," end quote. And the shape shows you this face of the ancient mirror when he wears the universal face. So in a way, this could be interpreted as teaching you that a big part of enlightenment is taking off your mask and being who you naturally are. Which points out that the secret is less about becoming a Buddha, it's more about waking up to the fact that you are a Buddha right now. Zen monk Shunryu Suzuki said, quote, "Without trying to be Buddha, you are Buddha," end quote. So if you want to reach supreme unexcelled enlightenment, take off your mask and stop pretending to be what you aren't. Enlightenment is waking up from the ego dream to see that every human is the eternal impersonating the temporary. This means that the real natural you is eternal and immortal, just like the boogeyman. The aforementioned sixth founding master of Zen in China, Dajian Huineng, said, quote, "There is no difference between an enlightened Buddha and an unenlightened ignorant buffoon. Both are Buddhas. The difference is the realization of the inner Buddha nature. The teachings are simply to awaken the enlightenment being blocked by the mind's incessant thoughts," end quote. Therefore, it's nothing but your ceaseless ruminations and your ideas of your ego identity that get in the way of your enlightenment shining through. So be like the shape and get rid of your name and your form and go beyond ego and all ideas, distinctions, differentiations, dreams, and dualities in order to get in touch with the universal self. Which is not an ego. No ego exists in reality, especially not a universal ego, and definitely not the ego of Michael Myers. The Buddha said that there are 3 illusions to avoid: one's ego, other people's ego, and a universal ego. Which is to say that you and I don't have egos in the same way that the boogeyman has no ego and the universe has no ego, because egos don't exist. This indicates that despite what I have attempted to explain, Zen is not pantheistic. Pantheism is a concept and philosophy, whereas Zen is a living. So wake up, open your eyes, and live like Michael Myers. Realize that there's no need to cling to any identity because you are infinitely more than any ego. And because the shape will tear it all away from you anyway. In other words, you should live naturally before the boogeyman kills you. The way most people envision the universe is that it consists of all things and all people, which is why some people call it the universe, the cosmos, everything, Atman, Alpha and Omega, or even God. In that sense, one could argue that we are all God wearing human masks, in exactly the same way that millions of people wear masks in the streets every Halloween. As G.K. Chesterton wrote in his autumnal poem, quote, "But now a great thing in the street seems any human nod, where shift in strange democracy the million masks of God," end quote. So Michael Myers could be seen as God wearing a mask, Therefore, Michael Myers is the shape of God. But don't forget that you are too. You are the universe. You are Buddha. You are God. Which also means that you are the boogeyman. In other words, Michael Myers is the shape of you. Because Michael Myers is the shape of everything. In summary, the shape is everyone and no one. He is everything and nothing. So look at his blank mask and stare the void in the face. Gaze into the empty, soulless eyes of the boogeyman, see your reflection, and enter into true nothingness. Get in touch with your inner Michael Myers. You are just like the shape because the truth is that we are all Śūnyatā. The void isn't just inside us, it is us. In other words, we are all the universe, and we are all nothing. Okay, ghosts and goblins, that was my first draft of Chapter 7 of Zen and the Art of Halloween. Stick around to the end of this video to see my bloopers because they are honestly the best part. But first, hit that subscribe button to follow me the way Michael Myers followed Linda Vanderklok. And if you enjoyed this video, please dress up as the ghost of the like button's boyfriend who you just killed, and then kill the like button by strangling it just like the shape did with Linda. Be sure to check out the other chapters to put this one in context, and please comment below to let me know what you liked, or tell me everything you hated and what you want the boogeyman to do to me as punishment. Also, please comment any corrections you have if you think I made a mistake, or if you have any suggestions or additions, I'd love to hear them. Also, let me know if you'd like to see me perform a 1-hour version of this thesis live, or if you think I should publish it as a book, or if you want me to burn it with fire and never speak of it again, leave a comment. I truly appreciate every single like, share, comment, and subscription, and I will respond to all of the comments. One last thing, if you could please share this with anyone you know who's a fan of Halloween, Zen, art, or comedy, and especially if you know anyone who's a fan of all four, please share this with them. Thank you for watching, happy Halloween, and now enjoy my bloopers. A big part of enlightenment is taking off your mask and being your natural I. Take off your mask and stop pretending to be what you aren't. Zen Master Dogen said, quote, in his autumnal poem, quote, in his autumnal poem, quote, in the same way, the truth is that we are all I call it you are God. Schwanze said, quote, Michael Myers, be like the boogeyman because this means that Subsequently, this means that you can also temporarily appreciate autumn when the leaves turn gold and fall all around you like a golden shower. Clinging to your life is pointless. Beauty to be found in this changing ephemeral life. Can help you realize that existence is precious and profound precisely because it's not perfect. A mirror is often what? You can't die. You can't die. It's only your ego that does. Shards of your mind, which can Boogeyman teaches you that being alive. Your body mind of itself. Take the backward step and live the way the boogeyman does. Yeah. Don't fear your ego. Live like Michael Myers. So, already enlightened. This could be interpreted as teaching you. Every human is the the way we conceive. What? Or whatever. I don't know how that fits, but I said it, and that's what I'm going with. Hey, you can't kill the boogeyman. Hey, you can't kill the boogeyman. Or a face.